You know, if you farm organically and biodynamically, you kind of live by the sword and die by the sword. And 2018, for those that did farm that way in Bordeaux, was a very challenging year. And the reason for that is because they had a very wet spring. Now, why would that be a bad thing, Tris? I mean, is that good? Well, it can be good, but if you farm biodynamically and organically, it's really not that good. And the reason why is mildew. And mildew is hard to control if you're, farming sustainable. Well, even taking it a step further, right, organically and biodynamically. And for Chateau Marceau, that's Anne Laurence and Matthew Chardronnier. Yep, that's how they farm. And like I said, it was a difficult vintage for them. Now, that doesn't mean it's a bad vintage. It just means you get less fruit. And so basically, when you're looking at normal yields are around 30 to 50 hectoliters per hectare, they only had 10 hectoliters per hectare. They only made 20% of their normal production in 2018, which is like low. And so they didn't, what do? We don't have any wine, it's just, but what we do have is brilliant. And 2018 is a brilliant vintage, and the fruit that they did get was superb. Now, let's talk a little bit about Chateau Marceau. As many of you know, we've done many vintages of Chateau Marceau because the wines age beautifully. They are spectacular value for the money. And the one thing that's great about Chateau Marceau is Robert Parker, yes, the Robert Parker, called it the Petrus of Côte de France. Now, why would he call it that? Well, it's got a lot of similarities to Petrus. First of all, the soils. The soils are 100% blue clay. And you see it kind of sprinkled around Bordeaux, a little in the left bank, mostly in the right bank, mainly where Petrus is from. And it's funny because I asked Christian Moex once, I asked him, I said, he has some great old vine Cabernet Franc on his vineyard of Petrus. And I asked him, I said, hey, why don't you use this in Petrus? He's like, wet feet. And what he meant by that is clay. And clay has wet feet, so the Franc never gets ripe enough, So I don't know where they put it or where they use it. They use it for Lafleur Petrus or Trottoir or whatever. But that being said, Côte de France, blue clay, wet feet, 100% Merlot, just like Petrus. And but the one thing that you won't get is a Petrus price. So anyways, going back to this, 100% Merlot. Again, only 20% of production, 2018, 94 points. But then, so what Anne Laurence and Matthew decided to do was come up with kind of a series here. Now they come and lay down 6-packs, and if you get a full 6-pack, you will get all 3 of these series. And essentially, Ronan Barrowick is a famous designer, and he was the one who came up with the design. The brown represents the soil, and the green represents the vines itself, and the red represents the fruit. So I actually just learned that. But I thought it was kind of cool, and I think they're kind of cool. And you know what I did? I took a bottle home like the other night because I pass it all the time because we took our allocation and it's there on the floor, and I keep walking past it, and I keep walking past it, and I keep walking past it. And I have tasted these wines out of barrel, the barrel samples of these wines, because I actually went out and visited the property. In fact, I have some pictures for you. Cameraman, if you want, me with big boots on. It was raining, it was cold. I mean, it was really cold that day because it was in the middle of winter. And so anyway, I checked out the property, the facility. It's awesome. It's awesome. It's small, but it's like a really cool, hands-on kind of operation. Anyway, that being said, 94 points. We're at 28.98, and that is a very, very, very good price. If you want a 6-pack, I can't ship them if in the 6-packs because they're laid down. But you'll get, if you buy a 6-pack, you'll get all flavors of of the art. Like and subscribe. Tasting machines are open, we're open. Come on in, get a card, come taste some wines and hang out in our new wine bar. We got cool music, football on the weekends, fun place to be. Anyways, I'll see you around. Have a great weekend.